Greetings everyone. So you may know, if you've been following my channel for some time, that I did make a video a little while ago now about a priest named Stephen Shire who was involved in a car accident, and he was basically just nearing death. He was on the road, or he was dying, I suppose. And while this was happening, he had an experience where he saw Jesus. Jesus judged him and he sentenced him to hell for basically being a bad priest. And then, thankfully, fortunately for him, the Virgin Mary stepped in and asked her son to give him another chance, and he received another chance, and he didn't actually die in that moment. And that does generally send the message that priests are going to be judged more harshly than the laity, because they are responsible for many souls, while laity generally don't have that kind of responsibility. They're responsible for their own soul. They obviously want what's best for the souls of their loved ones, the people nearest to them. But priests and bishops and cardinals and even the Pope, they are responsible for many souls. So if they screw up, if they're not doing things as they should be, then that could involve a lot of souls being lost. And in fact, in this book I'm reading right now, the biography of Mother Mariana de Jesus, who's famous for having these apparitions of Our Lady, with Our Lady of Good Success, or Our Lady of the Good Event, it is mentioned there about the harsh judgment that is going to come on priests. But another thing is also mentioned. So I'm almost done reading volume 2 right now. It's taken me a little while because I've been a bit busy. I've been reading this book for a good few months now, but there's something I saw in volume 2 that I thought was very interesting, because Mother Mariana is generally known for her apparitions with Mary, or apparitions of Mary that she had, where Mary spoke to her and told her a number of things. But while she was in the convent in Quito, she also had a number of apparitions of Jesus, who spoke to her and told her various things. And one of the things he talked about was bad priests. So I'm going to just read out this little bit, it's just a few paragraphs of what Jesus told her was a consequence of the clergy not doing their job properly, not being true to their faith. And I've actually written it up so you can read this if you like. If anything I'm saying is unclear, I'll put this on the screen as well. It's from the book. It's from the second volume of the biography of Mother Mariana. And here is what Jesus tells her in this apparition she has of him. Know, moreover, that divine justice releases terrible chastisements on entire nations, not only for the sins of the people, but especially for those of priests and religious persons. For the latter are called by the perfection of their state to be the salt of the earth, the masters of truth, and the shields to hold back divine ire. Straying from their sublime mission, they degrade themselves in such a way that before the eyes of God, they increase the rigor of the punishments. When they detach themselves from me, that's Jesus, they end up living a superficial life of soul, maintaining a distance from me unworthy of my ministers. By their frigidity and lack of confidence, they act as if I were a stranger to them. Alas, if they knew, if they were convinced of how much I love them and desire that they enter into the very depths of their souls, there, without a doubt, they would find me and would necessarily live the life of love, light, and continuous union to which they were not only called but chosen. So there we have it. Christ basically tells Mother Mariana that chastisements of nations is very much down to bad priests. Laity also, and just men being sinners, but particularly bad priests, because they're chosen and they're supposed to be the salt of the earth. They're supposed to be guiding us. They're supposed to be the beacons. And yet here they are sending people down the wrong path or completely confusing people. I think it's fitting that given what's going on now in the church, we have this message from Jesus. I mean, it was hundreds of years ago, but it's happened in the past, and it certainly seems to be happening now. There are a lot of priests causing a lot of confusion, and there's most certainly a crisis in the church. You know, a few years ago, even just a few years ago, people could have said that, those who criticize Pope Francis, it's just certain people. It's just certain Catholic outlets who are very against the Pope, and certain traditionalists, and they're being very harsh on Pope Francis. And generally, the mainstream Catholic media and mainstream Catholics, they don't criticize the Pope. Pope Francis is a great Pope. He's doing fine, and don't listen to all those critics. But I think, as you might have seen more recently, there are a lot of people concerned about what the Pope is doing in the Catholic world. And this includes mainstream Catholic media. This includes EWTN. This includes priests, good priests, who are saying, yeah, there are things going on in the church. There are things being said by Pope Francis that are very odd, very ambiguous. There are appointments being made by him that don't make any sense. So, this kind of warning, it extends all the way up to the Pope, I suppose. I mean, it's not just priests or bishops or even cardinals, it's the Pope as well. And Jesus here is saying that chastisement of nations. So basically, if bad things have been happening in countries, that could well be down to, as well as the bad actions of the laity, the terrible actions and the confusion caused and the terrible guidance of the priests, who are not doing what they're supposed to do. And Christ even alludes in that message to this idea that, if they truly believed, if they truly loved me, they wouldn't behave like this. And he's kind of saying that, almost suggesting that some of these priests are not true priests who truly love the faith and believe in the faith. Some of them could just be imposters who have gone into the priesthood, and they're causing a lot of a big mess, basically. Some of them might just be priests who have been very poorly formed as priests, who knows. But yeah, I just wanted to read that to you, because I think it's, as I said, it plays to the times right now, what's going on. So there we have it. That's Jesus talking to Mother Mariana in Ecuador during an apparition she had of him in the convent in Quito. And this was in the 17th century that this took place. Thank you very much for watching, folks, and please do come back soon.